Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Barrel Shop. The ABV Barrel Shop is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri, and is the world's first single barrel only liquor store. This business is owned and operated by Steve Cailee and Jim Fosnot. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to sign up for their email and text distribution list. That way you'll know what they have in stock, what classes are coming up, and what barrel picks they have in the works. We are also sponsored by The Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers a fully customizable carrying case that allows you to take your favorite distilled spirits or cocktail ingredients with you. Whether you're looking for yourself, a customized gift, or logo items for your business or event, The Bar to Go can help. Check them out at thebar2go.com. Use the number 2 when you type out The Bar to Go. Did you know Neely Family Distillery now ships its popular distilled spirits directly to you? To order, simply call 859-394-3258. Tell them the ABV Network sent you. And now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today on the show, we discuss how bourbon breaks down age differences. My name is McNew. Please join me in welcoming my co-host, Steve Cailee, along with our special guests, Luke Otero, Cailee Baker, and Tim Swiat.
Hey, gang, what's up?
Hey,
hello, everybody.
Hey, so yeah, we're going to have a fun show today. We're going to be talking about this unique phenomenon that is bourbon that really takes age out of the equation. And, you know, that doesn't often happen. If you sit down and you talk with someone, say you sit next to someone just at, some sort of corporate function and you talk with them and the person's 20 years different in age than you or 30 years. The first thing you think about is I got nothing to talk about. When it comes to bourbon, whiskey, there is, and we'll get into that. And we got a fun little stat too that we want to share, but we'll get to that after the break. For right now, Tim said there's something you want to talk about. What is that, Tim? Go ahead, Tim.
This McNew, we got to go to me. McNew, fire away. Ladies first.
Okay.
That's how we do it here.
Yours is probably going to be better than mine. But anyways, the other day I was walking through the freezer section at my grocery store, the bread and ice cream section, you know how it looks. But they had Bosco sticks. And I remembered them from when I was in school. Yes. And they were the fucking shit. They were the best things at school lunch, Bosco sticks. And they're literally
like the Bosco sticks.
Yeah, they're literally like mozzarella sticks.
Which store were you at? Sorry, just gonna go ahead and ask that because it's important. Walmart. Okay.
But Cailee, I was so disappointed. These were the shit in school, right? They were so good. They're trash now, and I don't know.
What did you cook them in?
The oven.
Okay, you should try it with an air fryer because I feel like it'd be different.
I thought about that.
The oven.
The things that made me think
oven.
No, air fryer. Do you not have an air fryer?
I do.
I totally turned the oven on and I put it in there and it's letting me preheat and everything. And then it was like, this is not good. It's not like at school. Why is that? Oh my God.
Because at school they were deep frying it.
Oh my God.
Right. But
using the old toaster ovens.
But my thought was that they sucked, and I was like, "What from your child?" My question is, what from your childhood was so good that sucks as an adult? That was my question. Steve's making fun of me, but
oh my God.
I'll give you one right off the bat. Okay. You know what rocked as a kid was just having meals chosen for you every fucking night.
Actually, yeah. That was
and what sucks as an adult is to have to fucking choose your meals every damn day.
It's just terrible. Every day. And then
every day.
You're going to figure it out for today, and guess what happens tomorrow? There's another day.
Yeah, you don't get one fucking day off. Not one fucking day off from that shit.
You have to eat every day. It's very inconvenient.
It's really annoying.
I'm
sorry. I just went on a tangent, but yes.
Okay.
So was that the same brand, Stephanie?
Yeah, same brand, same little dude on the box. Like, I remember this, and I was so excited when I saw it in there. I was like, Bosco sticks! And my husband and I went to the same school. I knew he'd be excited, too. We were both very disappointed once we had that.
I still stand by my opinion that you should have done it in an air fryer or deep fried in grease.
Go grab a box tomorrow and try to air fry them.
She'll try again.
Try again, and we'll see how it really turns out. Because I don't think they made those shits in a oven. They did them in an oven.
I hate
Oven,
oven.
and an oven either. Yes.
Oven. They didn't make
That's a bourbon baker line there, Steve.
Yeah, the oven.
It's an oven.
It's a bourbon maker slur right there.
Yes.
Luke, is there anything that you thought was just amazing as a kid, but you think is bad now?
So I was pretty excited when snack packs came out, the chocolate pudding.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Luke and I are old enough; they were actually made out of metal when we were kids. The snack pack. Now it's all plastic. Yeah.
And in like 15 years, they're gonna mix your medicine in there. And
See, there we go.
I used to work in a nursing home. I know how it is.
There's where it gets sad. Yeah. But notice who the sober ones are. The older folks are. Look who's the drunky one here. The young one.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Wow.
Go ahead, Luke.
But the
She
newer snack
apologizes for
packs,
that.
they just don't cut
No.
the flavor or anything like that. So
No.
that for me, that's what it would be, Stephanie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that was the thing. It was the flavor. They were so bland.
Mhm.
And I remember them being
So
Not
good
that-
as a kid.
yeah.
Well, also your taste buds change when you're a kid. You think one thing, and when you're an adult, you think another. So it couldn't be. It could be just the thing.
All right, Tim. Anything that you thought was great as a kid, you don't think so good now?
Well, where do we start? This is like a therapy session now. It's like, well, let me talk about that. Earning money was really cool when I was a kid. Now having to do it now, not so much. Now I really have to do it. Is one.
Right.
So if I'm going back to foods, I got to tell you that Salisbury steak when I was a kid,
Oh yeah.
that was damn good stuff. Now I won't touch it. I'm like, what?
Full bunch. And now, you can get the frozen ones or whatever. They're horrible.
They're
I'm
terrible. Yeah.
Okay.
My
Yes.
favorite lunch day. Oh, I can't do it.
That
now.
and I go back to the old chips like Andy Cap hot fries or Funyuns. Oh god, they're awful.
No.
And I
can't touch
agree
it.
with the snack packs too. Snack packs have gone downhill over the years.
Going downhill. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's what I thought was great as a kid, and now to me it's kind of revolting. It's almost rubbery looking. Chef Boyardee stuff. You get that ravioli in a can. Oh, when I was a kid, that was fantastic. Oh my god, it's horrible. What or SpaghettiOs? What was I thinking? I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's they have when they drop them out of the can. It's like they have a layer of mucus over them.
I know. Yes.
I will say that one has a thin blurred line for me because I enjoyed some Chef Boyardee in college when I was poor as fuck.
I will say
you start eating.
We all know someone who eats SpaghettiOs at least once a week. But this is a bachelor, so Andrew Webrink. Yeah, he's on the SpaghettiOs.
Doesn't surprise me at
once
all.
or twice a week. Yeah, imagine Andrew coming home after a day at work, doing all this research on barrels and all that. Comes home and he prepares himself some nice SpaghettiOs.
Yes.
It kind of cracks me up. Does he have on footy pajamas and he's walking around the house?
He's just blanket and slippers
Got a sleeping hat, or something like that.
I feel like SpaghettiOs is one thing that I haven't tried in a while that I'll probably be disappointed in once I do.
You're not gonna like them anymore.
Yeah,
but they were great as a
college
kid.
days was probably the last time I had one. So
As a kid, they were awesome, but not so much now. So
yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well, guess what, gang? It is time to drink. What is everyone drinking? Let's start with Tim. Tim, what do you got?
All right. Let me get
I know
my
you got
settings
something
right.
good.
Yes. I have a bottle of Leatherwood Distillery Snake Eater Bourbon.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. Boy, that was explosive. Congratulations.
It came through. I'm just so happy it came through. This is
It did not.
spectacular.
It did
No,
not. There was no noise
didn't
at all.
at all. Honestly, I feel like I'm sad because I've endorsed so much. Leatherwood has great popping capabilities, and that was kind of sad. But I think it was just a Mike Muffle. Yeah, that's all it was.
Mike Waffle got him. I've got R6 from out in California. This is their rye. They're good people. Yeah. That was weak, but it's also the lead.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Luke, you're next.
I'm doing the Kentucky Owl St. Patrick's.
Okay.
Ooh.
It's a good one. Okay. I think I've still got the lead. Mine was weak, but
you do.
yeah,
You do.
yeah. All right, Cailee, you're next.
Well, I coincidentally also had a bottle of Snake Eater by Leatherwood ready to go. It's about at like a fourth left, so I'm not really confident on this one, but I don't know. The winnings are slim right now. Let's see.
Hey.
Yeah, I think that's enough.
That was
That's
desk.
enough. It was weird. There was definitely a desk hit there, but I think
It was
the cork
there was some bass and there was definitely some like it
You
lifted
hit
off
the
the table
desk,
just a little
Carol.
bit.
Yeah, don't
I'm,
deny
so,
the
I'm
desk.
sorry. I apologize.
It's still enough. It's still enough. All right.
all right.
McNew, Cailee has the lead. What do you got?
I have some Jeffersons.
Okay. No. Clearly, Mike Buffalo. You
All right.
something wrong with your mic.
Hey, we need to work on that stuff.
It used to be better. Yeah.
McNew, just give me a call and I'll do your mic test.
She'll do it. Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right.
Wait, so who won? Did I win?
Yeah. You won.
Okay. All right, cool. I didn't hear that part.
For the record, Cailee won. So. All right. We'll take a quick break. And then when we come back, we are going to be talking about how bourbon eliminates age differences. We'll do that in just a few. Let's talk about the people who make these shows happen. First up is the ABV Barrel Shop. It is the most unique shopping experience in the world of bourbon, as the ABV Barrel Shop only sells single barrels. Owners Steve Akeley and Jim Fosnot select. With over 100 distilleries on board to sell us barrels, we are home to the most unique and diverse barrel pick selections in the bourbon world. By signing up for our email, you will always know what we have in stock. In addition to the single barrels, we'll have a gift shop featuring ABV Barrel Shop as well as ABV Network merchandise. We are partnering with vendors like Art Eatables and Old Man Bay Signs to bring you unique items you can't find anywhere else. We will also have a 24-seat classroom where we are offering educational and fun classes like Breakfast and Bourbon, a series where we pair donuts and bourbon, customer barrel picks, and opportunities to learn from master distillers and other bourbon dignitaries. Best of all, we feature a tasting bar where you can try before you buy. All of this is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri. If you are in the St. Louis area, please stop by to say hi. If you're traveling in from outside the area, please take advantage of our hotel rates with the Drury Inn and Pear Tree Inn, less than a mile from our shop. This can be done via the links in our Visit St. Louis section on our website. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to plan your trip. The ABV Barrel Shop. It's where single barrels live. Hi, this is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network. We're sponsored by the Stave and Thief Society. This is where you, a bourbon enthusiast, can expand your knowledge and emerge a bourbon steward. In 2017, I completed my Executive Bourbon Steward certification. It's the most comprehensive bourbon certification program available and connects you with an expansive network of bourbon enthusiasts and professionals. Check out the full listing of in-person and online certifications and join the society today by enrolling at staveandthief.com. Okay, let's talk about the Neely Family Distillery. In 2018, I met Royce Neely at an industry event. He started appearing on our shows, and we became friends during my frequent trips to Kentucky. Today, he is amongst the leaders of young distillers leaving their mark on the bourbon industry. A visit to Neely Family Distillery yields insight on their unique family history, why their products are special, and gives you the opportunity to taste their whiskey, moonshine, and creams. Check them out at NeelyFamilyDistillery.com or visit them in Sparta, Kentucky. Well, go ahead, Danny. Is there something you need to say?
Just sitting there saying that plain and simple, if you're sending me to a text, you need to tell me you need to send it to me in a text. So
Welcome back to the Bourbon Daily. Today we're discussing how bourbon defies age.
Yes, we are. So Jim and I were talking one day because we had one of our regulars come in, a guy by the name of Darren. He's there all the time. Matter of fact, he's on a show, just played recently. So he was in and we did a show live from the tasting bar. So as we record this, it's not out, but it'll be out tomorrow, I believe. So it's out on Saturday. So by the time this one comes out, it'll already be out there. But so he's a great guy, regular. He was a forestry student at the University of Missouri. So he brings an able to, as we talk about different finishes and what he knows all about all that stuff. which is kind of cool. And he's a good sport about stuff, but he'll come in and hang out and talk to us usually for a couple hours at a time. And then one day Jim was like, you know what's crazy? He's 23 years old. We're 30 years older than this kid. And he comes in and he hangs out with us and we just talk and chat. You never even think about that. That doesn't come up. But we talk without any awkwardness. And I thought that is one of the things that's really cool about bourbon, isn't it? Is the fact that you have this common bond. And it doesn't mean that's all we talk about. When he's in, that's not, we don't really talk about whiskey. It leads you to talking about life. And that's what I say. One of the cool things too is you ultimately, because you have this common bond over bourbon, you have bourbon friends, but then they turn into be just your real friends, just your friends. So, I mean, I think everybody here on this podcast, hopefully considers me a friend. I consider them a friend. And yeah, it all started out with bourbon though, which is pretty cool.
I will say our friendship solidified when I met you and you were taller than me.
Yes. So
what
yes.
are the characteristics you look for in a man, Cailee?
I consider all of you guys a dear friend of mine, even if I've met you in person or not. I know I missed the opportunity to meet Tim in person, but
You get that slow cooker going. You had to turn it. You had to do what you had to do. I get it.
I had to do.
I also was running late.
Had to do what I had to do.
Yeah. Tim's pretty tall. How tall are you, Tim?
6'1".
Yeah, so he's tall.
See, we would have taken a picture together, and I would have just been slightly taller. So maybe it's best. Maybe next time you wear your platform shoes, you be taller than Cailee.
I'll put my lifts in there just in
case.
Put your lifts in, and Cailee, you go barefoot, and then take that picture, and then we'll see.
Right. It'll work. No, don't worry. I wear like as flat as a shoe as I can get every single day. So.
Okay. Yeah. And you know, I think it's important to point out too, as we do the show, we didn't know this going in. It wasn't like I set this up for that, but as I got to thinking, and I thought about it just moments before we started this show, we're doing some chit chat in between.
Like 5 minutes ago. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought, wait a second here. And I asked Cailee, is she 30 yet? And she says, no. And I said, wait a second. We've got someone that's in their 60s on the show, someone that's in their 50s, their 40s, their 30s, and their 20s. And we're all good friends, and we talk about whiskey, and we talk about other things. We talk about life in between shows. We have a good time just chatting. I mean, bourbon has given us this gift of friendship with, again, people that from age that spans, you know, it's in 5 different decades here. That's amazing to think about.
It is. It's actually very impressive and cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm forever indebted to ABV Network for bringing me so close to all these badass bourbon people that I have, you know, grown to just love and know so closely. I love it.
Also super grateful because I would say probably over 50% of my friends now are bourbon people or bourbon related. And
that happened to me too.
It's bonkers to think about that way, but it's
you go
absolutely
back
true.
Pre-ABV Network, 100% of my friends were my friends that I've always known, and we would do things, and you know, there gets to be some drift when everybody's busy with their families, and everybody has. I'm at that age where everyone kind of is. You know, kids are leaving, and so adults have, you know, second homes. There's the whole thing going on. Where different stage in life, and bourbon came along at the perfect time, doing this stuff and getting a whole new group of friends where we just want to go and do bourbon focused stuff. And my bourbon friends, if we're going to distilleries or whatever it is, we get to hang out and do bourbon things. And most of my friends now are bourbon, the bourbon community. So.
Yeah. Like I'm kind of weird. Like I live in the suburbs where everybody is a mommy and like my friends are having kids and I'm like, can't relate, very uninterested in that. So it's nice to have bourbon. I'm like, I don't want to hang out with your kid. I don't want to hear about your kid. Like that's not my lifestyle. Mm-hmm. But it's nice to have people where I'm like, it's not suburbia. We all probably live in the suburbs somewhere, but I'm like, it's not like the suburban everyday life of like, I don't care what your kid did in kindergarten. So
I got to tell you, Steve, when I saw the notes on this topic, I started thinking, I said, you know what, a good example for me was just recently when we did the Jason Bronner was in and he did a bourbon dinner at a very nice restaurant. There's 30 people there, and about 6 of the 30 were probably their late 20s, early 30s, and the rest were, you know, scattered throughout, kind of like our panel tonight.
Right.
And it was amazing because they were sitting at a table that, you know, they didn't know anybody, but we noticed that they were talking, and it was bourbon that brought that dialogue together. And, from there, I'm sure they're going to be around and see each other, whether it's at a restaurant or a liquor store, and they're going to remember each other. So this is bourbon. Has broken the barriers of any age that could have been a factor of not being friends or acquaintances or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so good, in fact, that I feel extremely confident when you just ask them the question, are you a bourbon fan? And if they say yes, there's a bond there where I like, okay, I know I can talk to this person, and I know that there's going to be some common ground there that we can talk about. So it's cool. What were you going to say, Tim?
I was going to say, you hit it right, Luke, about people aren't talking about the process. They're talking about, what I love is when you start talking to somebody, they're like, oh, do you like pot stilled or column stilled whiskeys? I'm like, oh, now we can really get into it. When you got those different layers of folks that you can talk with and everything, you're just sitting at a bar and it opens it up, because everybody's here for one thing. And it's not necessarily to overindulge. It's to enjoy the conversation. Like we talk about in our tastings, what brought us here was the whiskey, because everybody wants to try things that they may not have tried before, or have access to something, or say that they can go back to their friends and how they had something exclusive or whatever it may be that you can't get anywhere else. But what kept us here was the conversation.
Yeah.
And you don't forget about that. Some of my most favorite bars in traveling around, I used to travel a ton, were the ones that did not have a TV. No cell phones were allowed at the bar. There's just certain criteria. And if you didn't meet those criteria, we got a bar downstairs for that. Up here's for conversation.
Yeah.
And about whatever it may be. And a lot of it's about the spirits. Well, what are you drinking? What cocktail are you drinking? And you start getting into the history and everything behind the product and the production. And once you start unpacking that and you get beyond some of the go-tos, once you get past the 200 level classes of bourbon drinking and stuff like that, then you really start getting into it, and they can just get crazy. You can go down a bunch of different rabbit holes. And what I find what's most interesting is when you haven't seen each other for a while and then you see each other again, you pick up right where you left off. That's a unique feeling that you don't have in a lot of other things.
Yeah.
I personally like hearing from the younger generation, the 20s and 30s, just because, we've been drinking whiskey for a long time.
Right.
The guy the 50s and the 60s, and so our palates are pretty much developed. They're probably not at my age. There's a medical report that your palate just starts to just get level. But these young kids, and I say they're kids, but they're in their 20s, 30s. They got some incredible palates, and they're telling me things. I asked them things, Tim, that what are you tasting, and they are really good.
Right.
Like Cailee and Stephanie. Man.
I think that's one of the best parts of the bourbon industry, is that you can get, somebody that's experienced and somebody that's not experienced, get totally different opinions on what is actually in the bottle and what you taste and things like that, like Luke's saying.
Yeah. One of my favorite things when it comes to those tasting notes is somebody, when Jackie's Ican's there, and she'll a lot of times be like, I don't like to tell you what's in there, because then it changes your mind, and you think you found it. No, I love the fact when she tells me what she's finding there, and then I can search for it, and I find it, and then I feel
and find the differences of what you find versus what she found. Yeah,
that's good.
That's the best part about it, is sharing experiences and what you discover, and each whiskey is different.
Yeah, and you can have those sort of conversations. You know what never plays a factor in that? Age. Who cares? I'm talking to Jackie's. You don't care about how old she is. She doesn't care about how old you are. It's just a conversation. Yeah.
Like, I remember one of the first years I went to New Orleans Bourbon Festival, and I was posting pictures. And one of my friends back home, he sent me a text. He's like, "Did you really fly to New Orleans to hang out with a bunch of old guys?" And I was like, "It's not even like that. Like, I didn't even think about it like that." I'm like, "No, they're my bourbon friends." Like, I didn't even think about anybody's age. It did not cross my mind. And I'm like, well, when you put it that way, it probably looks funny to other people, but it never crossed my mind that way.
Yeah. I guess you can say that bourbon's no longer grandpa's drink anymore.
Right.
I love that I love that whiskey now is talked about, and everybody understands all bourbon's whiskey, not all whiskey's bourbon, and you can start going through all of that. And there's so many options on the table, and in the back show, you could try anything. And I think it's the inquisitiveness of the drinkers right now, just trying new things. I don't think you can ask for anything more for the industry on that. Just trying new stuff. What it is, and let's be honest, us old guys here, and I'm in my 40s. Whiskey helps us make us look a little bit better to the ladies out there too, as well, or whoever you're talking with or interested with. It levels the playing field a little bit. Dad bods are back in style again, so it doesn't matter which way you play. It's all right.
It's all thanks to
whiskey. Lets those conversations go, and it maybe keeps that conversation going a little longer. Okay.
And I'll say for sure, as I'm nearing 30, but I'm not quite there yet. My grandfather's, I didn't know one, the other, passed away several years ago, but I can tell you confidently that if he was alive today, I could beat him in a whiskey drinking contest. There's no doubt about it in my mind. So the world has just changed.
Okay.
And I also think that my grandfather was never really a whiskey drinker. It wasn't really, a thing in his mind, but also he was the first person to tell me what distillery to go and visit, and that's the MB Roland, 10 years ago or whatever, when he told me I was visiting him, and he told me the nearest distillery by him to go visit, and that was the first time I ever went to a distillery. So the world has changed, the times have changed, the people have changed, the age has changed, but bourbon brings everybody together. That's the bottom line.
Well, on that note, I think it's a good time to say let's wrap this one up, as we always do, by talking about where people can find us. Cailee, we'll start with you. Where can people find you?
Hey, come see me at Leatherwood Distillery at either location. Let me know ahead of time, and I'll come and hang out with you. And then you can find me on social media at Cailee O. Baker or at the Bourbon Bakers on Instagram.
All right, Tim.
You can find me on Instagram at SwyGuy2112.
All right, Luke.
You can find me at Santa Fe Boutique Wines on Instagram and Luke Otero on LinkedIn.
All right. They should change it to LukeDin. If you hit it really big, Luke, you should buy LinkedIn and call it LukeDin.
It's kind of like Lugal,
Yeah. I mean, someone on Twitter, Luke buys LinkedIn. I think that'd be cool, but it's now LukeDin. It's no longer LinkedIn. It's LukeDin. Yeah.
After this season, we've had a really good year. I just may do that.
It may happen. Yeah. All right. McNew, how about you? Where can people find you?
I am on Instagram at McNew ABV.
All right, for me, I'm an easy guy to find. I'm at Steve Akeley on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakeley.com. We've also got a company website. That thing's abvnetwork.com. Check it out because everything that we do is out there. Previous shows, blogs, so much more, abvnetwork.com. McNew, anything else to say before we get out of here?
I would like to remind the audience to please give us a 5-star review. That includes comments. It helps new people find the show, which is very important to us. And if you like what we're doing, we ask that you please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/the ABV Network.
Great job today, gang. Farnates, we'll have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See ya.
Bye.
See you, everyone.
Later.
See you later. Bye.
Peace. Before we finish the show, let's talk about some great companies that support the ABV network. First up is Moonshine Still Pro. Moonshine Still Pro has a full line of products to help the home distiller. Whether you want to experiment on the stove in your kitchen or you're looking for a bigger setup in your backyard, owner Russell Creed and his team can help. They have multiple still offerings, accessories, and even grain from their partners at Goldstone Mill to assist you in making whiskey on par with your favorite distillery. They can also help you with some fabricated parts you probably can't make yourself if you are attempting a DIY still project. Learn more or order your still or parts at moonshinestillpro.com. Another friend of ours is the Goldstein family at Goldstone Mill. The Goldsteins offer a variety of heritage and heirloom grains to make the finest whiskeys in the world. Plus, they are more than just a grain company. They are truly consultants to make sure the grains they are providing to you or your business meet your highest expectations. Additionally, they work with mills around the country, ensuring shipping is as low as possible for their customers. If you're a distillery, brewery, or even doing this at home, Goldstone can assist you. Check them out at goldstonemill.com, call them at 217-254-6613, or check in via email at hello@goldstonemill.com. Last but not least is the ABV Barrel Shop. While we don't get to play in the allocated bourbon game because we aren't selling the other products you have to do to get those, we do have access via our friendships in the bourbon industry to some really cool stuff. Have you ever seen your favorite craft distiller selling some really cool limited offerings only in their gift shop? I'm talking things like the hazmat offering Distillery 291 did for their 10th anniversary, or Neely Family Distillery's Papaw's birthday barrel. They don't have enough of it to send it out to distributors, so they only sell it via their gift shop. Well, companies like Distillery 291 and Neely Family Distillery have agreed to sell us 2 or 3 cases of these offerings moving forward, meaning our store will have the access to some of the rarest whiskeys in the world. Way more difficult to come by than the allocated bourbon offerings with the national release. Yes, they will be extremely tough to come by, but if you're a customer of our store, you'll have a chance to get them. Get signed up for our email or text list over at abvbarrelshop.com so you don't miss out.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.